Hiya, folks. It's me, Harley Quinn. I gave myself bangs in quarantine. It was a mistake. Listen, sometimes you try a look and it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Anyway, the Harley Quinn Show. I don't totally have a script. I have my thoughts, my points written out, but I'm just chatting. Okay, so DC Universe has some shows. Some of them are real good, like Doom Patrol. Love Doom Patrol. Some of them are Titans. Not Titans like the big, like the show Titans. One of their shows is this Harley Quinn series. Animated, adult comedy. I'm gonna review it, the first season of it. Overall, it's a strong show. I've never really been super into Harley Quinn though. I know that's weird. Everybody's so obsessed with Harley Quinn. I mean, personally for me, maybe I'm a narc or something, but I prefer like the Bat family, like the Batgirls. And I mean, I love the other Sirens. I love Poison Ivy. I love Catwoman. I don't know. Normally Harley Quinn just doesn't really do it for me, personally. And like, you can make, like, logically, the logical argument, I'm there. I get it. But it just doesn't spark the joy that all the other women in Gotham spark for me. But I really enjoy this show. Some things it does well. It does the industrialization, like the industry of supervillainy very, very well. Gotham kind of tried to play with this in an early episode. There was like a supervillain Walmart they bust, but it didn't have the same, and that was like a, you know, grimdark series, like crime show. This being an adult animated comedy, you know, they can have a lot more fun with it. But I love the way that the Legion of Doom is treated. I'm obsessed with the Uber for henchmen. The characters in this show are great. The acting and the casting in this show is phenomenal. Alan Tudyk is a god. I don't know why he is in so many DC things. Is he a DC fanboy? I don't know, but I'm into it. I love it. His Joker voice, brilliant. I mean, people were saying too when he was Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol, love that show, that like he'd be a great Joker. He is a great Joker. Giancarlo Esposito playing Lex Luthor, brilliant. Even down to Lois Lane's actress, Natalie Morales. She's in like one scene, but I love that casting for her. It's brilliant casting. And the guy who plays Batman, whose name I forget, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere. Everybody, it's me from the future. His name was Diedrich Bader, and he was also Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold. Look at you, Diedrich Bader. He might be one of my favorite voice Batmans, actually. Can we cast him as Batman more often? There's one guy who's like cast in a lot of movies and stuff. His voice does not do it for me. This guy, great Batman voice. And like Kite-Man is a good example of a character that they adapt really well. Cause like Tom King had his whole Kite-Man thing in the War of Jokes and Riddles that made him all like, oh no, he has a sad backstory because his kid died or something. I don't remember. But like this version is so much better because it's like, it's absurd. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good God. Like, I just love Kite-Man just being a dude who's just like, wants to be involved, just really wants to get in on the whole super villain game. I love that. I love this Kite-Man. He's so corny, but he's so endearing. He's great. And as much as I, you know, usually don't ship Poison Ivy with men, and I don't want this to be like an end game type of situation, it is really funny. Their whole fling that they've got going on is great. I love it. The political commentary is pretty good. It's weird. Like, these DC Universe shows are woke. I mean, for, you know, for a mainstream, it's not like Means TV is putting this show on. It puts in these little political commentaries that aren't, you know, I mean, I'm sure those chuds who complain about anything being political because there's a woman would hate the show already just by nature of what it is. But, you know, if you don't have like very progressive politics, you could still watch it and enjoy it. But it's nice when you know that the show you're watching isn't going to go like full, like, chud jokery. I appreciate Ivy's powers too, is another thing. Like she can use her pheromones to like seduce men into doing her bidding and then they die or something, but it's more of an annoyance really than anything else in the show. It's not something she heavily leans on because she has a ton of other powers and a much more varied skill set than just she is sexy, and I always appreciate when that's shown for Poison Ivy. Okay, now getting into more criticism. This is going to be kind of almost a sandwich compliment. Sandwich criticism. So the situations in this show are brilliant. So like one of my favorite episodes, I think it's episode 3 or 4, where Harley Quinn wants a nemesis and she wants it to be Batman, but Robin, Damian, comes through and starts to paint a narrative of him being her nemesis. And the situation is brilliant. That is hilarious. That is... But I think that some of the jokes and the dialogue in this show could use punching up, which is what we in the industry call... I'm not in the industry, I just went to film school and paid too much money for it. Making the jokes, the written jokes, a bit funnier. Because the situations are hilarious and very entertaining. But I feel like the jokes... It's not that they aren't funny, but they could be better. So for instance, in that episode, at the end, there's this brilliant scene with Damian and Bruce and Batman. And the whole thing of a nemesis, especially in that scene, is very much treated as like a sex ed type of episode. And that was funnier as subtext. And then at the end, Damian's joke is just...
When can I start having sex?
I think I hear the bat signal.
Like, I feel like you could... It could have been funnier, is all I'm saying. Especially if it was a little bit less on the nose. So, like, if he was, I don't know, like... Father, Grayson, and Starfire were saying something about missionaries, but they aren't very religious. Which, wait, okay, sorry, side note, that's another thing, because the existence of Damian would to me at least, imply the existence of at least Dick Grayson, right? If not Jason and or Tim. But that's a personal thing. I just really like the Bat family. I don't know, who's in Damian's Titans? Father, sometimes when a Miko Queen is changing, my body has some feeling. Okay, we're done. Something that hints at sex, but isn't just flat out, okay, so I can start having that, you know what I mean? Just a little bit subtler jokes would be a little bit funnier. And a little bit more effort in the jokes, because I know that they put effort into the situations. Because again, the situations, brilliant, very funny, but the dialogue could use the punching up. And like, to be fair, I don't know how quickly they're putting out this show, and punching up is one of the last things you do. And I would rather they not like be perfectionists about it or anything. You know, I would rather have the show, but I think that if they're, you know, looking for new writers or something, it would be a good idea to focus on people who have a history of like punchy, witty dialogue, witty jokes.
It's me again. I hope I'm not coming across as like, yeah, they should hire me. I'm such a better writer. Cause no, not at all. Like making the spoken jokes, the dialogue jokes funny and punchy and witty is like the hardest part, and I think that it takes some of the most time. The fact that they can come up with such good situations is the most important thing, and that's like the thing I feel like I also... some people are really good at situations, some people are really good at comedy one-liners and stuff like that and punchlines. I think that if they're looking to hire any new writers, I would suggest they focus on people who are really good at the punchy, the one-liners, the jokes.
Which it's still, again, very good. And again, I mean, there's probably a time restriction on this. And punching up is like the last thing you'd want to do. I'd rather they just have the show, have the funny situations than, you know, I don't know, be perfectionists about it or whatever. But I think that in terms of the writing, that's the one place that needs more work. Because again, the situations are great, are perfect. Like, keep doing that. But I love their Damian. I want to see more of their Damian. Love their Bruce. Want to see more of that dad Bruce. The other thing is it does kind of feel like it's primarily written and run by men. And they seem like cool men, at least feminist or feminist allied. They don't seem like the kind of guys who would call me the C word. And there are a lot of women, I'm pretty sure, on the writing team, which is, I'd say good, but yeah, there better be. You can't not compare TV shows. And the thing is, Tuca and Birdie came out last year on Netflix, and it was spectacular. I think that Tuca and Birdie was the third animated adult comedy run and created by a woman. Not now, ever. And part of what was so amazing about that show is that Lisa Hannawalt, who created and ran the show, really brought that through into the animation format in ways that we don't see in animation typically because it's a male-dominated medium. And that's not the most important thing about the Harley Quinn series. It's not necessarily a show about female friendship like Tuca and Birdie was. It's about Harley Quinn, and then Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and then Harley Quinn and her gang. The most important thing for the writers of this show is that they are knowledgeable on and care about the source material, and they very much do. That is very clear. Bringing in characters like Jason Praxis, he's a bit character in an episode. I didn't know he was real. I Googled him because I was like, Praxis? Because that means doing political action, which I have executive dysfunction when it comes to just surviving. So I Googled him. He's real. He's a DC character who was pre-existing. He's not a real human. Their love of the source material and what they do with it and how they adapt it is brilliant, and that is the most important thing, and that is something that they do very, very well. But I also just can't help but feel like, as a woman, no, but when I compare the relationship on Tuca and Birdie of, what are their names again? Right, Tuca and Birdie, to Harley and Ivy on this show, I just wish it had a little bit more of that energy. And when it comes to them just chilling and stuff, I wish it had just a little bit more of that, we're just girls chilling. Imagine Ivy as Draca, the sexy plant lady, just taking her top off and her bra off, and it's not weird, it's not sexual, it's just we are girls and we are chilling. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
But a part of that also is taking more risks. Stretching what you can do with the adult animation format, stretching what you can do, the pillars of decency, which, to be fair, adult animated comedy doesn't really care much for decency in the first place. And as a flagship show on this small network, who's to say how much risk they could take?
That being said, Doom Patrol is pretty risky.
Overall, it's a very good show. And I am very excited for this second season. The first episode, there were some things that I wasn't super psyched about, but I love the direction it's heading in. And I'm very excited I actually am filming this on the day that episode 2 of season 2 came out, and I haven't seen it yet.
I have. Dressed all of my concerns. Very funny. Was clearly written by a woman in a way that, as a woman, I appreciate, if that makes sense. It was written by Sabrina Jalise. Honestly, give her more episodes. Promote her to an executive producer. Brilliant. Brilliant episode. Want to see more from that writer. Loves it.
Very excited to see Barbara Gordon. I am very excited to see Catwoman. I'm very excited to see where they take this narrative, especially given where it ended. No spoilers. I am very, very excited to see Harley and Ivy's relationship develop. I would like it to be a bit more romantical. But, I also wouldn't exactly want that too early on, to be fair. And I'd like to see this thing with Ivy and Kite-Man play out, for sure. And I feel like also, to be fair, season 2, from what we've seen so far, in the trailer especially, I think they're already going to have more of that feminine girls being girls, gal pals, touch to it. And not girly in a way that excludes men, but girly in a way that celebrates our own womanhood. That feels corny and very second wave feminine. I'm sorry. I'm going to rate season 1 a 7.5 out of 10. But I have very high hopes for season 2. I think that moving forward, I think they've got a really good thing on their hands. Will it ever be on the level of like your Tuca and Birdie BoJack Horseman's? No, but it doesn't have to be. Those are shows I would probably give a 10 to, honestly. Those are very, very psychologically deep. And this show does a very good job with the psychology it does. There are limitations when you are playing with such absurdity. But I'd like them to prove me wrong on this. I'd love to see something that makes me just go through every emotion, but it doesn't have to, is what I'm saying. It's a Harley Quinn animated show. It is funny. It could be funnier, but it is funny. It is entertaining. It's great escapism. It does what it needs to do, and it does that pretty well. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10. What do you think?
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this review here. Be sure to smash that like button like you're smashing in the Joker's skull with your hammer. Comment below. No, I'll stop with the voice. Comment below. Who's your favorite Gotham gal? Subscribe, comment, you know it. Bye.